Hello, my name is Bozo and I like drawing comics. Today we're working on the comic I've been working on for a while now called Bad Neighborhood. This is a Resident Evil 2 inspired comic, although I am taking elements from all of the classic games and other zombie genre inspired things that I like, and just kind of mix and matching or whatever I feel works good at the moment. So yeah, currently I'm working on, I believe this is page 19 of the comic. Been working on this for a bit now. I've been going back and forth between maybe restarting the comic, maybe doing it in a different format like a visual novel. But ultimately I've just decided to go and basically just do it, just continue the comic. Honestly, I think comics were the most, where I have the most fun basically. And visual novel was okay. I mean, because it sounded pretty good because I can just kind of draw one good Leona, one good Clarence, and just do some expression changes, kind of like Persona 3. Persona 3 Portable. I didn't play the remake. But basically, yeah, that's what I'm sort of thinking about. Well, not thinking about it anymore. I've decided just to keep doing the comic. But yeah, let's go ahead and work on the comic because I just cannot draw and talk at the same time. So I'm going to draw a little bit and then I'll come back and just talk a little bit. So here, I have them at the police station. They were chased by a group of running zombie sprinters after Clarence fired his gun, and they managed to make it to the entrance, but the door was locked. Here, to be honest with you, I'm not sure where I'm taking it. I had somebody open the door for them, which is I'm kind of contemplating maybe it could be like Chief Irons or something like that, or the gender bent version, since everybody's gender bent here. And I also kind of thought about maybe doing it kind of a little bit like the mansion in Resident Evil 1, but the police station is already kind of like that. So I don't know. I'll just keep drawing this page and just see where it where it could go, where it should go, where I feel it goes. I'm just kind of just like I don't know. There was like this thing where they said, there's like two types of writers, I guess. The architect that kind of plans everything out, and then I think it was like the gardener or something like that just kind of lets things grow and just kind of tries to manage the growth and just see where it goes. So I think I'm more on the gardener side. That's pretty much where we're at right now. Right now the door is going to close behind them, which is the last panel I have here on this page. And so I'm going to just draw everything out right here and just to kind of add the details in. Art isn't that great, but that's expected. I'm not the greatest artist, and I'm not really taking a lot of time with this, just because I really would just like to have this project finished rather than perfect. So yeah, let's get to work. I wish I didn't, well, as for Leona right now, her condition is that she broke her arm during the very first encounter with the zombies. I kind of wish I didn't break her arm, but I guess it's just kind of like an interesting limitation that I'm going to have with her. Face looks a little long. Let me just try and make that a little bit shorter. I just mentioned this before, but it's just, I don't know, just probably just the way that I've dealt with drawing, female characters, that I just took influence from a lot of different places, and I just had kind of like a mismatch of different artists, and, it's kind of hard to draw consistently versus like Clarence, which I didn't really take too much, how can I say, it's kind of like still bits and pieces of artists I did like, because usually everybody just draws girls for the most part, and for the guys, I don't know, I just feel like drawing guys is a little bit easier, although I have been struggling with like trying to make different hairstyles for them, but I kind of just thought about it, and just kind of just different hairlines, I guess, would be the best option. And I want to capture her expression of, I guess, a little bit of shock that the door suddenly locks behind them. Comically loud lock, I guess, that they managed to hear it like a couple feet away from it. Sort of trying to think how I'm gonna do the rest of the police precinct, I guess, and probably I don't even know how I'm gonna implement the puzzles. I can probably just kind of maybe just kind of I don't know, just kind of half-ass something with like one puzzle or two. And it's very, like I said, it's very heavily influenced by Resident Evil 2, the classic one. So yeah, I'm just gonna see where it flows, basically. Like I said, I'm more of the gardener type. I honestly didn't think I was gonna get them to the police station this quickly. Although, I've been trying to not draw everything out. Even the previous pages, when Clarence tries to open the door, I would originally plan like, I'm gonna draw his hand grabbing the door or whatever, and I just, I think I'm just getting better with that. I'm just being like, hey, you know what, just do one panel that kind of shows, hey, the door's locked, he's knocked on it, and he just goes, door's locked, versus going and doing, just drawing a bunch of things that in my mind should be there, but I think, I can skip, because nobody's really gonna, everybody can get the idea, basically. I don't need to especially draw everything out. As to where I'm going to take this after the fact, obviously, I do need them to react to the door closing behind them. I don't know. I was thinking of bringing Marlene, which would be this universe's Marvin. I was thinking of having her be not bit by a zombie like Marvin was, but rather injured or shot by the Irons Chief here, although I'm probably going to change the name. yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm thinking about. Maybe they meet Marlene, and they I don't know. I mean, kind of gives them an idea of what they're going up to and what up against. Um, she lets Clarence know that his sister's not in the city anymore, or she's gone missing, because they did have a thing where I thought about making Clarence's sister the Nemesis, kind of like they did in those movies with Mila Jovovich or something like that. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about, where I'm gonna go, because I think it would be interesting. I did have some plans to do it kind of. The initial, how can I say, the outline, I guess, I was kind of like, I kind of made it kind of like a Left 4 Dead campaign. So they're going to be at the police station, and then, they escape the police station, they're going to make it over to some school or something like that, because there's some other survivors over there. And in all this, they're being chased by that female nemesis, which is Clarence's sister. Kind of spoiler alert, but nobody, you guys aren't going to be reading these comics for a while. Even though, on that note, I've been thinking about trying to find some web hosting for the pages I do have right now. They're wildly inconsistent in art style, just because I've been drawing them on and off on my spare time. Versus drawing them on stream like I have been doing these past couple of days. But yeah, I mean, very few people are actually going to read them, so I don't think it really matters too much. And the people who do like it can probably just I don't say deal with it, but I guess they'll be more understanding if they do like the actual stuff that I do. About those big old shoulder pads, I think those things great. Those things were so great in the original, with Jill's original look. And it's a shame in the remake they kind of made them smaller, kind of going towards, I guess, a weird kind of realism. But we have to do this. We have to do this. What should we call it? We have to do this outfit anyways. But it really looks like she's just in the remake of Resident Evil 3. Jill kind of just looks like she's just kind of like a very low budget cosplayer instead of looking like, I don't know. I think the originals had a kind of like a very anime aesthetic to them that made them kind of interesting versus the remakes nowadays. They're more, I don't know, they seem kind of like Netflix adaptations. For me, maybe some bad or not that great Netflix adaptations. I know there's a lot of people who really love those games. Yeah, for me, I mean, I thought they were okay, but it wasn't, it wasn't the original Resident Evil 2, so they're never going to convince me it's better in any way. Really missed the opportunity to give her beret. I actually did think about maybe like bringing her beret back, giving Leona a beret. I can just say like she left it in her car when she was attacked by the first group of zombies at the beginning of the comic. But that would just be something extra I need to draw basically. But I don't know. I'll think about it. I can sneak in there that Marlene gives her, her beret, so she can have her complete uniform or whatever. I don't think the beret really cute. Like I mentioned, she has a broken arm, so Clarence made her kind of what do you call that? Like kind of like an arm sling, I guess, a makeshift arm sling. And that's why I need to just make sure I could just draw that in every panel, not forget. she does have the arm sling. Going to be interesting to see how she is able to use firearms later. Although right now she hasn't really used any firearms. But yeah, we're gonna see where this takes me, honestly. It's kind of I guess the kind of exciting part of comics, and kind of frustrating too, because sometimes if I want to do kind of like I want to redo a scene, sometimes I'll just take it in a different direction, and that's kind of a little bit not frustrating, but it's just kind of like, oh, you know what, I wish I can just stick to it and just that's funny looking at. Just stick to it and commit to the scene, even though I always just kind of just do whatever I feel works best at the moment, whatever's cooler. I'm not putting too much effort into these, too much. Honestly, I can't really draw very much better anyways, but you know, I just kind of want to get this done and over with. I do have other comic ideas I have, so yeah, you know, I kind of want to get this done and move on to the next one. Been doing comics on and off for a while now. So, you know, I do have a couple of ideas left over. I did have another comic series I was doing way back in maybe like 2019. But, you know, due to lack of readership and stuff like that, you know, I just stopped. You know, it's just kind of like what I've come to expect in my experience, and not too many people are interested in reading an original work or something like this, a semi-original work. So yeah, I'm just kind of doing this for fun now, and you know, since streaming is something I can do now, I figured I would just be doing this on stream, and just, you know, meeting with people, whoever stops by and says hi or whatever, and, you know, if anybody likes it, you know, that's awesome. I do get a little bit more views here and there, especially with the logs I was doing. Previous to doing these streams. So, you know, that's always a little bit encouraging. I know not everybody has the biggest interest in, you know, an independent comic like this versus, you know, the cool stuff either coming out of like Japan or sometimes coming out of the West. But yeah, I mean, let's see where it takes us. Let's draw those chairs back there. I think I'd rather draw just a very simple just get a cheap background and just have all the panels just be blank. So yeah, let's just draw something a little bit wonky, but to kind of give you an idea of the setting. Little floor mat here. Like I mentioned, probably I'm going to start working on the next page right now as soon as I'm done just finishing up everything here. And probably they're going to meet Marlene, which is the, like I said, Marvin of this comic. And that's where I'm going to go next. I know they're going to, I guess they're going to explore a little bit of the police station. Yeah, I know real tool exists, but a little bit lazy, so let's just do it this quick way. A little bit crooked, I don't know. Feel it adds a little bit more of a character to the comic versus, you know, straight lines of a ruler. Clarence kind of ended up looking like a little bit like Shinji Ikari, a little bit older, a little bit more buff. I think it's funny. Alright, so let's do some final touches to here, add all the black color, and just kind of add darker lines, I guess, just to make some other things stand out. For the police station itself, I think I'm probably going to do like some kind of mix between the remake and the original game, along with other changes I feel like doing. Like I said, this isn't a comic of part 2, but kind of just something inspired by. I had mentioned previous before too in earlier videos or earlier the progress ads. I kind of wanted to do like add some special effects, kind of like Left 4 Dead. So that's something else I have planned that I'm gonna add in. I already have the spraying zombies, kind of like Left 4 Dead, and a type of just kind of a talker zombie that just kind of mumbles on about stuff and talks and kind of like acts kind of like it was a human a little bit, or speaks kind of like a human, and just to kind of trick them. But yeah, those are kind of just plans for different zombie types I'm going to have in the future. So far, no plans for any zombies with guns, unfortunately. But yeah. Again, I know builds will exist, but there's just something relaxing about throwing it in by hand. Thinking about doing maybe like a 2-hour stream today, and probably doing maybe like another 2 hours on maybe tomorrow, Thursday, it's Wednesday, right? Yeah, maybe tomorrow, Thursday, and then maybe something on Sunday. It just depends on the availability I have, and it should be around like this, around the same time, around 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time would be, I think, of the ideal time. let's just flesh out the background a little bit. Just kind of add some lines here so it doesn't look so empty, I guess you can say. Just gives it a little bit more life if I do kind of like these little lines that I guess simulate kind of like lighting, I guess, or just, you know, some kind of gradient, I guess you call it. And it just makes it look a little bit more fleshed out than if I could just do simple line art. I would have learned a little bit more of actual drawing, but my focus for learning to draw was always just kind of comics, and to be honest, I figured I can just get away with most of it just kind of drawing very sketchily, and just getting away with it. I mean, in my opinion, yeah, it looks great. If you can draw the whole background as is, you know, with pretty good perspective and, you know, a nice amount of detail, that's great. But, you know, honestly, I think that's just something really only the professionals can do, you know, professional Japanese manga comics, especially since they have teams of people working on things, and some of them they collect like photographs and just kind of trace it, even though I'm pretty sure nowadays you probably do it a little bit differently, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, it's never gonna beat that. They just have a whole team of people helping them out. Versus me alone here, I'm just kind of trying to draw everything and write the comic as I'm drawing it, without making any money off it and not having any resources to pay an actual team to do it. Let's add some gray color just to kind of flesh this out a little bit more. Maybe on this, what is this, 1, 2, 3, on this fourth panel over here, I'll add a little bit of kind of like the color just to kind of simulate light, kind of give you an idea. Even though, well, police station is pretty much brightly lit, like the original. That's my plan anyways. We're gonna have to like normalize or see what I don't think I'm using the same color gray for most of these panels. I'm gonna have to see after I run them like one by one to see if there's like a noticeable difference. I can probably just adjust the hue or saturation of the color a little bit with tone correction, just the tone color a little bit. The color of the gray stuff. I was actually doing these comics as a full color comic at the very beginning. I think the first couple 5, 6 pages maybe were done in color. It was alright, but you know, I think it just moves a little bit quicker if I just do a grayscale. Most of the comics I read back in the day were grayscale anyway, so kind of I think it just works best like that way. this wide shot, the color of it. We're just gonna just half-ass it, to be honest. Doesn't look that great, but I think it'll work for what I'm doing right now. Yeah, I think that for that panel, I think it looks all right. Not too full, but just kind of enough to just kind of give you a rough idea of what I was trying to do versus going too detailed. Either way, I'm not that great at coloring, anyways. Either way. And here's kind of the shot, I guess, of the reception. Kind of this one, I kind of did think about it a little bit, kind of like the remake. Just that one made a little bit more sense. That as soon as you walk into the police station, there's a receptionist desk at the beginning, versus walking in and then there's a statue of a lady pouring water. So I don't know, I just put this dude there. I don't know, just say he's like some kind of a mayor or whatever, founding guy of the Raccoon City here, the Tanuki City as I called it in this comic. Kind of on that subject, I was kind of thinking about making this comic. From the initial was kind of just making it kind of like it already is kind of a cheesy B movie, but kind of a little bit more in that way, even though I don't think I've been living up to it as much as I thought I would. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the plan I had. I think nowadays it's just kind of just really just finish the comic per se, and just kind of check that off my list and say, oh yeah, you know, I finished one comic. You know, it wasn't good, but you know, it's done. I think I might have overdone it a little bit here. It looks a little bit wonky to me. Get rid of some of this gray color. And this black spot is just kind of the side of Clarence's head, I guess, just to kind of complete the shot. Alrighty, so let's move on to the last panel. Right before we start doing storyboarding the next page. Again, I know a fill tool exists. I just like doing it this way. I don't know, it's more therapeutic, I guess, if you can say that. It's just a lot more fun this way, and adds a little bit more character than if I were just to do the fill tool. Forgot to fill in this detail with black with Leo and his little arm pad, so let me add that in. Originally had her arm pads colored with just the same gray I use for the rest of the pages for that isn't, you know, specifically white or black, but I think just having her arm pads and her body, you know, her shoulder pads are part of the bulletproof vest she wears. We just have that in black color, I think. Ties up the way she looks in the comic a lot more if I just did you know, a different shade of gray. I think that's pretty much it for this part, for this page. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I had the first panel with this mysterious person looking at them through the security cameras, I guess, at the precinct, and letting them in after the door was locked. They unlocking the door for them and letting them in, and he or she is locking them in at the moment back into this police station. I kind of remembered Irons kind of in the original, he didn't want anybody leaving the city alive. You know, oh, nobody leaves my city alive. I remember that line. So I'm kind of want to make, I don't know, just make him a little bit more of an enemy, along with, that's probably a good idea. Probably just have him be the main enemy, and then, you know, that female nemesis, I had an idea, kind of like, takes him out, and, you know, oh, you know, there's a bigger enemy now, kind of type of thing. No, that's just an idea I had right now. Don't know exactly how it's going to be once I actually get there. So let me open up the new a new page and see where this takes us. So here, maybe for the first page, like I said, my instinct of trying to draw everything is kind of kicking in. Again, I wanted to kind of draw like Clarence or maybe Leona trying to open the door again, or I don't know, in that case, would they even be like alarmed that the door closed on them? Probably not. I don't know. Let me just think about this for a bit. So it's so they just entered the police department and they get locked in here. So kind of the thing I want to do here is just let me just sometimes you just need to draw things and sort of just take it there. So just draw on an initial panel, whatever. It's probably way too big. So I already have their reaction to the door shutting on them, basically. Where do I take this now? I mean, like I said, I did want them to meet Marlene, injured. She's been shot by that evil police chief Irons. But first panel, they've already reacted to the door being closed on them, and I mean, I guess I can have them, you know, one of them speak to them, have the Irons speak to them over the intercom, like, oh, you're gonna die here, or something like that. But I don't know. Kind of like just thinking back to I don't like things like not happening very much. I don't like to kind of drop an action if it's not really, if it doesn't really fit. Usually the main hall in the police station, there's nothing in there. I don't know, I think this may be an opportunity to get one of the special infected maybe in here, but I'm not too sure how that would make that work. I think that would interrupt the flow where I'm trying to go, and have them meet the injured Marlene, and maybe Leona gets her beret from her, just to complete her uniform, etc. So let me think. I mean, I can just have them exploring the actual main hall of the police station for this page, and maybe running into Marlene. That's what I'm kind of thinking right now. Definitely don't want them just kind of like not acknowledging that the door was locked. I mean, it'd be kind of silly if this first panel is just them exploring already. So I'm just thinking about kind of think I'm just gonna have to probably just do Clarence knocking on the door again. Kind of do that shot again, that the door is locked. Yeah, it's kind of a tough one right now, just kind of trying to think what to do next. Kind of thinking I can also have kind of like, I did put over here in that other page that there was a zombie already, a dead zombie right there in the little corner over here. So there are zombies inside of the police station, obviously, but you know, just kind of showing it in the actual comic itself. So I don't know, maybe I can use that to my advantage. To, I don't know, say they get, to say that, you know, one of they get attacked by a zombie, basically, is what I'm trying to get at here, but I don't know, that's where I want to go, so I'm kind of just thinking about it. How do I get them from where they are now? They need to have a reaction to that door closing on them, so that definitely needs to be the first page, the first panel. Yeah, so I think I'm probably gonna make this first panel just kind of skip him knocking on the door, but say, you know, or just have Leona say like, oh, you know, it's locked, you know, what's going on, you know, and they're just in mystery and confusion as to why they're locked in. Kind of, I mean, I personally would understand why they would lock the door again, especially given the situation going on outside. But you know, story doesn't always operate on logic, so that's another thing. We're gonna have Leona this time say that it's locked. So let me think, I can probably just draw just a simple... kind of like a side view of her, kind of reaching out, and then noting, hey, the door, no, it's locked, or something like that. Yeah, something like this. Here she goes to check, and then we can do like another panel over here with Clarence. Just kind of like, we gotta stay sharp or whatever. Yeah, so I think I'm probably just gonna stop. I like the way this first panel looks, so I'm probably just gonna have Leona checking in the door, and then Clarence kind of being alert and observant as to what's going on. So let me think. How can I go with this? So she's basically saying, "Oh, it's locked." like it's locked, and then maybe I just do something like that. Like I said, just do like, oh, you know, we gotta stay on our toes. You know, I'm not sure what's going on. I think probably just maybe like the last page of this would just be like kind of like Marlene kind of like limping out and you know, showing that she's injured or something like that. I think in this comic, I'm probably just gonna do something like Walking Dead, where anybody who dies turns into a zombie, regardless if they ever got bit or infected or anything like that. So although Marlene is probably gonna die from her gunshot wounds, I don't know what I'm gonna do, like one wound or probably a couple wounds. She turns into a zombie afterwards as well. Let me think about this second panel. So we have Leona confirming that the door is locked, and we need Clarence's reaction to this information, as they say. Let's do what I originally planned. Just do kind of like a medium shot, Leona over here, turning around and kind of like being a bit cautious. I can say something like, oh, you know, something's not right. Yeah, I think that's a little bit weird that he would say something's not right. I mean, obviously they're gonna lock the door, but you know, I can understand his point of view to say something's not right. You can say something like, you know, something's not right, stay sharp, or something like that. Roughly sketching out what this page would look like. So right now, I mean, they're out of weapons. Leona, she lost her gun at the very first encounter that she had with the infected on the highway to Nikki City. And Clarence, you know, he only had his limited ammo on the handgun he was carrying with him, and he used it up outside, taking out a group of zombies before they were attacked by the sprinter horde, I guess you can call them, sprinters. And so they're both out of weapons, minus obviously Clarence's knife he has on him, same knife kind of Claire has as well. And she never uses. Well, she does use it in the game, but you know, you get what I'm saying. probably show them moving cautiously through the main hall. Like I said, I do probably want to introduce Marlene at maybe the panel or the last panel on these in this page. So yeah, I mean, I guess this big panel is going to have them kind of cautiously looking around through the main hall of the police station, and probably have Marlene kind of groan or ask for help or whatever. She's already kind of bleeding out for the most part. Same with Marvin. In the second draft I had about this, when I was writing this, she was going to be a little bit more of an important character. But that draft was a little bit more Resident Evil 3. And I did write a couple of pages after that one, but that draft was originally going to become a visual novel, and I think especially for like streams, I think it's just a little bit more visually enticing to actually see things being drawn versus just having a text document on the screen, I guess you could say. So yeah, so we're gonna stick into this first draft, and then Marlene is just gonna kick the bucket the same as Marvin. Like I said, this is going to be a little bit more of a background, a wider shot, per se. So let me think of how that can work. I guess the easiest wide shot is going to be kind of like a side shot, where they're kind of like looking around like this or whatever. Something like that. What do you think? You can also do like a kind of bird's eye view of that exploration in the area. We're just kind of split this up into two smaller panels. Just trying to think of how it would be more efficient, I guess, because I really don't want to draw too much. I just want to be advancing on this as much as I can. Those first two panels seem pretty good. They go okay-ish with the previous page. Like a side view, like past the reception. There's a statue that I did before, and we make the way up. There's like desks here, computer and stuff. Very retro 90s computer with those big old CRT CRTs too. Big fat CRT monitor. Just kind of drag it all straight from over here. The statue. Like this, yeah. This is going to be good. Although it's a little bit weird that they would be like right behind us. Actually, some stairs. So just kind of the stairway over here. I just keep going for something simple. I just have to look right here. Let's see. Like that. Kind of sneaking around. I just put like one dead zombie right here sitting at the desk or something like that. And probably just Clarence with his knife out. I don't want him pulled really obvious like that. I feel a little bit more that he's on edge, you know. He doesn't trust the situation. The owner right now, obviously she can't do too much of an assistance to him, even though she did bail him out from a previous zombie attack just because she's injured and she doesn't have any weapons. Although, obviously, I'm probably going to give them some weapons. Maybe Marlene, you know, tells him, like, oh, you know, there's weapons over here. Go get them. Probably having them looking a little bit more tactical too. If I probably just have Leona just kind of like walking backwards, you know, kind of covering his back. I think that would probably look a little bit better. Probably should like look into like which Resident Evil game was the one that Leon and Claire stay together. I think it was like Dark Side Chronicles or something like that. Kind of as to a way that gives me an idea of what that would have been like had Claire and Leon stayed together and you know took on the police station basically together. I remember watching a kind of a game movie of it a while back, way back. So I'm probably gonna look into it again, kind of to give you some inspiration, I guess you can say, to this comic, which is kind of like that Dark Side Revelations game where they're both together in the police station. That's something definitely I'm gonna take as a little bit of homework, I guess. I think this is also one of those things I probably would have done like a couple more panels before this, them sneaking around. But I think, you know, just skipping a couple of things that aren't super vital that need to be drawn out, that can probably be implied. by the reader. I think it's just going to work the best versus, saying everything, kind of, you're showing everything, just because, a very limited amount of time to work on these things, and not a lot of drawing skill either, so just kind of just going through it. I think I mentioned before, I just want to get this done, even though it's going to be very imperfect and not great, but, get this one done, move on, and work on a different project, a different comic, and, take some experience from this one. Hopefully the next one will be a little bit better. So here for the reveal of Marlene, I don't know, I kind of just, the very first image that comes to my head is just kind of her, just kind of like a shot of her, a front shot of her on the ground, kind of groaning, and I think that'll probably be the best, kind of like a big panel shot, kind of like this, and kind of closer to her, she's like right there, like groaning, like holding her nose and groan. Ooh, and she's hiding behind, something over here. And we have the reactions of the main characters over here. No, this doesn't look as good as I imagined in my head, but I'll just kind of adapt it right now. I might just split into two panels too. I think that way it just flows a little bit better. So, like, I guess Marlene got shot, and she's kind of, let me show the background first so I can get an idea. Kind of in the main hall, kind of, laying, sitting down, or maybe kind of something like this, so she's like, kind of her head should be kind of more like, kind of like, something like that, like she's sitting down right here, and I just want to make this zoomed in a little bit more. She's right there, she got shot, I don't know, in the stomach or something like that. That kind of like brings back kind of the imagery of like Reservoir Dogs, where that guy got shot in the stomach and she's like groaning or whatever. I guess she's gonna give him them kind of like a foreshadowing, and I guess that, that the police chief's gone crazy and just trying to kill everybody. Like that, but like I said, I think it just should be zoomed in a little bit more. Something more like this, where she's like, oh. It does that famous Marvin groan. That I forgot how he does it. Something like that. I'm kind of not liking the way it turns out. Kind of just if I do this panel here, then the next panel, it's kind of not as interesting, I guess. Let me think. Let me think how I can rearrange this. It's an alternate way I can do this is just to have her do her groan and kind of catch Leona and Clarence, kind of surprise them with the groan. And if I just do like a big panel and then just like a real small panel showing kind of the top of Marlene's head, kind of from their perspective, and they can see the top of her head, on the other side of the desk, basically, kind of a type deal. That way in the next page I can have kind of a couple more bigger panels dedicated to Marlene and showing the extent, I guess, of her injuries, and just very quickly letting them know, hey, don't trust the police chief because she's crazy or he's crazy or whatever, and kind of setting up that. Like right now, like thinking about it, I feel like I'm kind of stepping away from the threat of zombies, but I mean that's kind of like the norm basically with any zombie games. I mean, they're kind of only a threat at the very beginning, and then after that it's either bigger mutated zombies or other people that are usually the biggest threat. Something like this. I just need to just adjust it a little bit to fit better because Clarence is much taller than Leona. And he used a speech bubble for the kind of draw some effect lines right there to fill out the background, and just some exclamation points. Cue that Metal Gear Solid sound effect. All right, and then like right here, just kind of like over the edge of these monitors or whatever, you can see the top of her head. And just kind of just like, I guess Leona's head here, just kind of just to fill out space. And just like that, we storyboarded page 20. So let's go ahead and get started on it. Started drawing and see how far we get today. So we got the reaction to the previous page of the door closing on them, and Clarence not feeling the situation and being like, hey, you know, stay sharp, you know, something doesn't feel right here, and then them coming in contact with another survivor, with Marlene, which is going to be shown on the next page. So let's go ahead and get this one drawn out. That way we can get to the next page. Let me go get some water real quick. I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I'm back. So let's go ahead and get started on drawing the first panel of this page. No, the perspective isn't is actually very bad, but like I said, this is just to get an idea, give you an idea of what we're looking at. I'm not a professional artist, never have been, probably never will be, so just kind of a quick sketch with it, I think is the best option. Something like that. This makes this door look very short, so I just need to make it a little bit bigger. I know Leona's not that tall. She looks right now. She's pretty much up with the door frame, making her look like she's like 6 or 7 feet tall. Something like this. Yeah, something like that gets the point across. Let's draw that railing or whatever they have right there. And then that door, well, I don't know here if it's actually going to go, but it's kind of just that door that goes to that other part of the police station. I forgot which wing it is exactly. That part, you know, that big room where you go in and there's like a bunch of zombies at the very first encounter. The very first time you go in, there's like 6 or 7 zombies all at once. That room. just erase this so I can draw Leona here. Should we maybe need to be quite a bit bigger than the sketch storyboard I have right here. So let me just adapt that real quick. Just say, you know, it's locked. We're locked in here in the police station. Something like that looks like it's working good. Something like that. She says it's locked. And Clarence is not having it. He's concerned, alert as to what's going on. Try to stay on model as much as I can, but I definitely do stray a little bit. Just a skill issue, I guess, as they say these days. Alrighty, so this is looking pretty good. Let's just continue drawing this way. Draw Leona's arm sling, can't forget that. think after Marlene, after we do the thing with Marlene, I do want to show different special infected. I mean, it's just kind of like the same thing what Resident Evil did. After you meet Marvin, then you know, the encounter of the liquor, which I guess you can kind of consider the special infected of like Resident Evil 2. One of the special infected, anyways. So yeah, I kind of want to probably do something like that, introducing some type of variant zombie to kind of increase the tension, along with the crazy police chief trying to kill everybody in the precinct. Right here, I think probably I'll say something along the Marlene have something to say along the lines that, you know, the police chief, you know, killed all of the survivors that they had held up in the police station. He, you know, I think I'll mention that and then just have them actually, like, in some of the future panels, maybe barge into that room full of the civilian survivors that had bundled up in the police station. That's probably like another good idea, just to sort of keep on the back burner, just to keep this going. And yep, let's keep on drawing Leona here. Leona is kind of very much, instead of being kind of like a female Leon, just reminds me a little bit more of like Resident Evil 1 Jill. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this is just kind of like a very loose imagining, I guess, of what I think. Not even really a reimagining, just kind of a burner project, I guess. Previous videos I had mentioned that it was like this idea of doing like a Resident Evil 2 gender bent thing kind of came along as a Game Maker Studio game. I was trying to learn Game Maker Studio, so I said, oh, you know, I can just do that story real quick. I have all the story beats, everything that needs to happen, and just kind of do like a demake of Resident Evil 2 along with like the gender bent funny thing. So that's kind of where it originated from. I kind of missed drawing comics for a while, and that's why I started to do this project again. I had a couple of other the projects, as I mentioned before, but I didn't really connect with them as much, and I kind of just wanted to do something a little bit different. And this idea kind of came back up on my mind, and I'm like, okay, I can just do this idea real quick, and, you know, kind of get my feet wet drawing comics again, and then move back into the ideas that I had previously, and just kind of stream everything, or just make some videos as I thought before, and kind of detailing the progress. But I think the streams are probably going to be probably the best option. So let me get back to drawing real quick. I took a little break talking to you guys. So that panel came out pretty quickly. Not too great, but you know, following the consistency, I guess, of what I've been doing recently, anyways. So yeah, so let's pretty much got this panel done. Let's go ahead and take the second panel out. Got a little bit of details in the back, just a little bit, kind of like those squiggly lines to, you know, kind of indicate color or whatever, you know, just kind of fill it out so it doesn't look so empty. And let's just go ahead and outline her just so she sticks out a little bit more in the chaos of that noisy background that she has. Just erased a little bit of the lines of the background a little bit just to give her a little bit more space and make her pop a little bit more. Alright, so that looks okay. Let's go ahead and move on to the next panel. Drawing Clarence over here looking a little bit concerned about the situation. Well, we're more concerned now that they're locked in versus outside, with the zombies. Just kind of his gut instinct is telling him that, something's off. Going back to what I said earlier, I think it's just easier to draw guys sometimes. In my case, just because I didn't really take too many things from other artists when drawing guys versus, drawing girls, a lot of artists have different styles and stuff that works great in their style. And I mix it in with mine and I get mixed results. And just drawing dudes is just easier just because, I think they're just a little bit more straightforward, especially if, they're more on the masculine side like Clarence. It's just a lot easier to draw. Kind of want to add here that he's he's taking his knife out, has his knife out already, so I want to just add some space for that. This Clarence is looking pretty good. Let's just add in the details. I just correct a little bit of things I saw here that I don't like. Make his knife a little bit longer just so it looks cool. Alrighty, and something like that, and then we're gonna have a kind of a shot of Leona here in the background. In that same panel where she's over here, just kind of the camera angle. I think this is probably one of the parts in comics that I enjoyed probably the most, maybe. Even though I have a very limited drawing ability, was just kind of the cinematography, I guess you can call it, in the panels, even though I'm not that great at it. But it's definitely something I kind of enjoyed doing, kind of setting these shots a bit, and I'm just kind of working along with my limited drawing ability to do it. And sometimes, you know, there's some shots that look pretty good, some drawings of the characters that come out pretty good, and I kind of like them. It's just kind of the good parts of the comic drawing experience. Probably the things that I probably enjoyed the most over the years, and kind of what kind of drew me to kind of once again come back and start drawing these comics again, just because, you know, I enjoy these types of things. I definitely don't enjoy, I suppose, the loneliness of it, and, you know, the fact that not very many people read it at all. Understandably, you know, just because, you know, it's an indie thing, and there's a lot of better commercial comics out there that are much higher in quality in all departments. But yeah, so I'm pretty much done for this stream. I'm going to be streaming tomorrow again at around like 1 p.m. East Pacific Standard Time, more or less, just for another 2 hours or so, working on the rest of this comic. and just keep progress going. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for today. Just the other comic that with the other page we finished from the comic, just a little bit. We got them arriving to the police station and getting in there, and then they get locked in. And then what we got right now, the reaction to them being locked in, and Clarence is not too keen about being locked in here, so he's a little bit cautious. And we're gonna meet Marlene next, which is the next character that comes up. I did skip over Kendo, but I don't know, I'll see how I can get him back into the story. Probably Kenya or something like that, just for fun. And yeah, that's pretty much, like I said, that's all I got for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hope you guys tune in and stay safe out there. Bye bye.